Hello, my name is Ken Small and I'm an architect in Las Vegas, Nevada. Our architectural firm rarely designs single family residences, and this is because of the regulatory environment in Las Vegas. And so today I'm going to talk to you about why you'd want to hire a residential designer as opposed to an architect for your house design. This is for your personal residence. So we do occasionally do single family residences if you want to do something especially nice. But most people who are trying to hire someone to do a single family residence are searching for a budget oriented solution. They call and ask how much, and then with the beginning of the how much conversation, we typically tell them we don't want to do it. In Nevada, there are multiple um, kinds of individuals who are capable of providing a set of plans within the regulatory environment that you can pull a permit for a house. And the first one would be the homeowner himself, herself, could draw their own plans. The second one is it could be a structural engineer, it could be an architect, and then uniquely to Nevada, we have a licensure of residential designers. And so you can go to the Architects Board website to find one and to understand the criteria for their licensure. But basically, they're required to have a certain number of years of training and experience and take an examination to become residential designers. And so as far as life safety is concerned, the Architects Board has decided that your house will be as competently designed as if it were done by a licensed architect. Now, most residential designers aren't trained in aesthetics, so how beautiful your house is or not, you should check out their work. But I would check out the work of an architect as well, so maybe that goes without saying. Um, Architects generally, but not always, cost more. And this is because most architects, in order to work on commercial projects, maintain an actual physical office with multiple staff so that on larger projects, they're able to staff them with more than one person. And so for, say, a school or a public building or a very large office or an office building, you will be able to get the project done faster by an architect who has draftsmen or production staff beneath him within his office. And so for that reason, almost all architects have them. But for a single family residence, it's really not practical to try to put more than one person simultaneously on the architectural portion of the project. So even if you go to an architect's office, normally there's going to be one person working on it at a time. And so most residential designers are working out of their home, or they're working out of a relatively low overhead office situation like an executive suites or something like that, where their overhead cost is much less. And almost all architects have errors and omissions insurance, whereas most residential designers that I know do not. So you're in a much lower price point for the cost of your plans. And if that's what you're looking for, then the residential designer is probably for you. Training experience for residential designers is controlled by the Architects Board, and I have not met any residential designers who had less than 5 years training and experience, and most have more. There are not a lot of them, and they don't advertise much because word of mouth works for them since they're cheaper. And so you probably want to go to the Architects Board website and search to find them. Googling them might yield somebody nearby you. So they have this training and experience. to be able to do residential design. And a lot of them are trained in more than just the architectural drawings. They might be able to do electrical drawings or plumbing drawings or HVAC drawings or even structural drawings. And so from that standpoint, they also have the capability of being more efficient. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Knowledge of the regulatory environment, again, if much as an architect would, if a person has been drawing houses over and over again in your area, particularly where you have a lot of environmental regulations, maybe you're not in Las Vegas, you're up by Lake Tahoe, but if you're in Vegas, we have neighborhood associations, we have a power company that controls whether you can have power, we have gas company that controls whether you can have gas, sewer company or sewer line situation where you may or may not be able to connect to a sewer line. You may need to design a septic system to go with your house. You'll need structural engineering. You'll need mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering and or design, and a lot of other things that if you're drawing your own plans, you won't see these things coming. And so your RD can tell you, hey, you need to get in touch with, say, NV Energy because there's no power to this location and it may take them so many months to provide power. So if you were drawing your own plans, you could get most of the way through the building department and then realize that, oh, I have a 4-month process with NV Energy before I can get any power out to the site at all. And so this knowledge of the regulatory environment, which building codes apply and all that, would be something that the residential designer would bring to the table for you. Considering the design elements and coordinating the design elements, which I talked a little bit about before, much as the architect does, the residential designer would integrate the work of the structural engineer and the MEP engineer and whoever else, whatever other consultants are needed with his work. And in many cases, the RDs are capable of doing the actual drawings that an engineer would do. So the electrical drawings or the plumbing drawings or what have you. And so you don't have another consultant to coordinate. You have actually one person who's doing more than one thing. And architects can also do this, but generally they do not. So again, it could potentially bring efficiency to the cost of producing your bid or permit drawings. The next one is the second opinion that a design professional would bring to you. Even though you may think you know exactly what you want, I would suggest that somebody who's drawn dozens of sets of plans before will be able to give you some good advice on maybe the way you thought to do it might not be the best way, or maybe it's even the worst way. But as you're saying, I want this and I want that, this is a second opinion on all those things that give you potential for avoiding mistakes. And then 6 is verifying reasonableness in the process. So if you're encountering something that you haven't encountered before, you could go back to your residential designer and say, hey, I'm being told this. Does that make any sense to you? Is that logical? I'm being told something by a subcontractor or by a general contractor or someone in the regulatory environment if you've decided to handle your own regulatory environment work and not delegate it to the RD. And then you could get some solid advice on whether that seems reasonable or not. So this all comes back to, much as it does with an architect, peace of mind that when you get to the far side of the process, do you feel like you've done the best you could? I said in my architect video, and I will say here, more than likely, after you finish any design and construction process, you will look back on it and say, if I had this to do over again, there are things I could have done better. But bringing someone on board who has many years experience to help you avoid the majority of those things is what you're looking for, and the kind of peace of mind that you get out of it. So I would advise considering that. If you have a budget-oriented project, that approaching an RD to assist you in the design of your new home is a good choice. And definitely check them out, because just like architects, some may not be any like-minded with you at all, or maybe people don't like them in general. Maybe they're technically competent, but they're not nice people. I don't know. The ones I know are nice, but that doesn't mean they all are. And so check them out, ask for references, find their work from the past, even talk to past customers and make sure before you make a choice. Remember that their fee is a relatively small proportion of the overall project cost. And so trying to find one that works $10 cheaper is not necessarily going to save you money. And if you want to design a big, gorgeous, high-end house, then give us a call. We'll, be interested in trying to work with you on the project. The majority of our work, though, is commercial projects. And my feeling about it is that after you get above about 7,500 square feet, basically a house of 7,500 square feet is about the same as a small commercial project in terms of the technical knowledge that's needed to produce it. Although all that said, I don't think the RDs are limited to that size. It's just my advice that once you get up to that budget class, I think you probably want to look at spending a bit more for an architect. And there are some extremely experienced RDs that are doing high-end houses that may be good for you also. Watch our other videos. We have over 80 YouTube videos now talking about various things. So my name is Ken Small. Please like and subscribe wherever it is, over here, over there. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. My name is Ken Small with SSA Architecture in Las Vegas, Nevada.